My beloved child, be still now. The world around you rushes with noise and demand, but I am calling you into the quiet, into the secret place where my voice can finally reach your heart. You have fought many battles, both seen and unseen, and through every one, I have been beside you. Do you remember the nights when your pillow was soaked with tears and you thought no one heard your cries? I was there. I counted every tear, and none were wasted. Every ache in your heart has been a tool in my hand, shaping you into someone stronger, gentler, and more radiant with grace. You see, my child, your pain has never been punishment. It has been preparation. You have been walking through the fire, not to be consumed, but to be refined. Each moment of confusion, each unanswered prayer, each delay was not my neglect, but my mercy in disguise. I know how deeply you long for clarity, how much you want to understand why certain doors stayed closed, why some seasons stretched longer than you thought you could endure. But what you did not see was that while you were waiting, I was working. I was weaving together a divine tapestry that required every color, even the dark ones. My timing is perfect, even when your patience is not. Every delay was a divine safeguard. Every disappointment was a redirection toward something greater. You have been asking me for blessings that require maturity to sustain, and so I have been growing your roots deeper, unseen beneath the surface, before letting your branches rise. You see, if I had given you what you wanted when you asked, it might have crushed you instead of blessed you. But now, because you have endured, because you have stayed in faith even when you felt nothing, you are ready to receive what was always meant for you. Do you remember when you thought I was silent? You looked at your circumstances and wondered if I had turned my face away, but I never left. My silence was not distance, it was strategy. I was teaching you to hear beyond the noise, to listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit. I was training you to trust even when you could not trace me. This was the hidden curriculum of your wilderness. The world tells you that progress means movement, but in my kingdom, progress is measured by trust. Every time you chose faith over fear, obedience over understanding, patience over panic, you were advancing. My child, your waiting was never wasted. I saw how you kept showing up in faith, praying when your prayers felt unanswered, serving when no one noticed, loving when it wasn't returned. You thought you were standing still, but heaven saw you growing. You thought nothing was happening, but roots were deepening. You were not stuck. You were being strengthened. There are blessings that only patience can unlock, and you have found that key. You have learned the rhythm of my heart, the sacred tempo of sowing and reaping. The world runs on instant gratification, but my kingdom runs on faithfulness. I have been teaching you to walk by faith, not by sight. And now, because you have not run ahead of me, nor fallen behind, but walked in step with me, even when my pace seemed painfully slow, you have come into divine alignment. This alignment is not just timing, it is transformation. The fire you endured was not random. It was the forge of your destiny. I am the master sculptor, and your life has been the stone upon my table. Every pressure, every trial, every sharp edge was an intentional stroke of my hand, shaping you into the likeness of my Son. You felt the chisel and thought you were breaking, but I was revealing beauty hidden within you. That betrayal, that heartbreak, that season of loneliness, it all had purpose. They were the tools I used to carve away pride, fear, and self-reliance, until what remained was pure, radiant faith. The world sees scars as weakness, but I see them as marks of victory. You are not disfigured, you are distinguished. Every scar tells a story of where the enemy tried to destroy you and failed. They are proof that grace always triumphs over pain. And now, my beloved, you stand before me not as a victim, but as a victor. You stand not in shame, but in strength. You stand not as one barely surviving, but as one called, chosen, and crowned. You have graduated from the school of waiting. You have passed through the valley of testing, and now you stand on the threshold of fulfillment. The blessings that once seemed delayed are now on their way. The prayers you whispered through tears are about to return as songs of joy. But before you run into the next season, pause with me here. Feel my presence wrap around you. Remember that it was never about the destination. It was about this intimacy, this communion between us that was formed in the fire. You see, my child, faith was never meant to be a transaction. It is a relationship. You trusted me in the dark, and now you will see me in the light. You believed when you had nothing, and now you will receive more than you ever imagined. The world may call this the end of your trial, but I call it the beginning of your purpose. Everything you have learned, every wound I have healed, every truth I have whispered in the stillness, it all has prepared you for what comes next. Behold, I am doing a new thing. Do you not perceive it? The old season has ended. The wilderness has served its purpose. You are stepping into a land of promise, not by striving, but by surrender. The ground beneath your feet has been softened by your tears, and now it will bear fruit in abundance. This is your time, not to chase, but to receive. Walk with me, child, and let the rhythm of grace guide your every step. You no longer need to rush. You no longer need to prove yourself. Just be still and know that I am God. I am the author of your story, the keeper of your time, and the finisher of your faith. You were never behind. You were always right on schedule. Now lift your eyes from what was and fix them on what is to come. A new dawn rises before you, and its light carries the promise of restoration. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. I will redeem the lost opportunities. I will multiply the fruit of your endurance. You are not starting over. You are starting stronger. For every tear there will be joy. For every night a dawn. For every battle a crown. You have walked through the valley and found me faithful. You have waited in the silence and found me true. Now step forward, beloved, for your time has come. The journey ahead will reveal more of my heart, more of my goodness, and more of the destiny that has been written for you since before the foundation of the world. You are my beloved, and in you I am well pleased. Remember this above all else. My favor is not earned. It is inherited. You do not walk toward my love. You walk from it. You do not fight for my approval. You fight from it. And nothing, no mistake, no failure, no darkness can separate you from it. My beloved, now that you stand in this moment between what was and what will be, I am teaching you the sacred art of surrender. You have carried so much, held on so tightly, tried to fix what was never yours to mend. But now I whisper to you gently, release. Release the timelines, the expectations, the what-ifs, and the hows. Lay them at my feet, for I never asked you to carry the weight of control. I only asked you to carry faith. Faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. You will not always see where I'm leading you, but trust that the path I have chosen was written long before you took your first step. Do not let anxiety be your counselor or fear your guide. Let peace be your compass and my word your map. The future is not unknown to me. It rests within the palm of my hand. You are safe even when you do not feel certain. You have spent years learning how to fight. Now I am teaching you how to rest. Rest is not laziness. It is trust in motion. Rest is worship. Rest is the declaration that says, God is still working even when I am not. I do not measure your worth by your productivity, but by your presence. And every time you choose to be still in me, heaven celebrates. The world will tell you to hustle, to push harder, to do more, to prove yourself. But I am not the God of exhaustion. I am the God of completion. When I created the heavens and the earth, I rested, not because I was tired, but because it was finished. So too, my child, there are seasons when I will ask you to cease striving and simply be. Be loved, be healed, be still. For in stillness, your spirit aligns with my strength. Do not confuse delay with denial. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it never will. Every promise I have spoken is still alive, waiting for the appointed hour. I am never late, and I am never early. I am always right on time. The waiting you endure is not empty, it is sacred preparation. You are learning patience not as punishment, but as power. There will be moments when fear whispers that I have forgotten you, but I cannot forget what I have formed. I engraved your name on my hands. Every heartbeat of yours echoes in eternity. Even when you wander, my eyes never lose sight of you. Even when you fall, my mercy runs faster than your mistakes. My child, you are never too far gone for grace to find you. Mom! Let go of what was so I can bless what will be. You cannot receive new wine if you keep holding on to old wineskins. Some relationships, opportunities, and seasons have ended not because you failed, but because their purpose was fulfilled. Stop mourning what I have already moved you from. I am calling you forward into something greater, something that requires the space that loss has created. Every ending in me is the beginning of something divine. Beloved, I know surrender is not easy. I know there are pieces of your story that still ache. You keep revisiting memories, wondering what you could have done differently. But the truth is, redemption doesn't come from replaying. It comes from releasing. Stop analyzing the pain and start anointing it. Let your tears water the ground of renewal. For I promise, nothing surrendered to me stays barren. You will not lose by letting go. You will gain what cannot be taken away. In your weakness, my strength is made perfect. When you admit you can't, that's where I begin. The surrender you fear is the doorway to peace. You have tried long enough to carry what only I can hold. Release it, and you will see that I was never asking for your perfection, only your permission to take over. Trust my process. The soil must break before new life emerges. The seed must die before it blooms. And just as surely as winter surrenders to spring, your season of waiting will surrender to wonder. I am not done writing your story. I am simply turning the page. Let patience be your posture, for the next chapter is already unfolding in heaven's ink. There will be days when uncertainty knocks on your door. Welcome it, but do not let it stay. Sit with it, but do not surrender to it. Remind your soul, God is faithful. Speak truth to your trembling heart. He has never failed me yet. And when you can't feel my hand, trust my heart. For even in silence, I am still speaking through peace. Beloved, I am not rushing your process. I am refining your perception. You once asked me to make you strong, and this is how strength is born, not through ease, but endurance. You prayed for faith, and faith grows in the unseen. You prayed for purpose, and purpose emerges through surrender. Do not resist the refining fire. It is forging the very thing you once asked for. You are safe in the unknown. For what you call uncertainty, I call invitation. I am not hiding the future from you. I am holding it for you. You may not know where I am leading, but I know exactly where you will arrive. The same hand that wrote your beginning is already waiting at your ending. You can trust the author who never leaves a story unfinished. So breathe deeply now, my child. Inhale peace, exhale control. Let go of striving and step into surrender. For this is where miracles are born, not from force, but from faith. You do not need to figure it all out. You just need to walk with me. And as you do, every step will reveal what trust truly feels like. Steady, certain, and free. I am not done with you, beloved. This surrender is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your transformation. The weight that once held you down will become the wings that lift you higher. And when you look back one day, you will realize that the moment you released control was the moment you began to soar. Beloved, I know the storms you have faced, the winds that howled against your peace, the waves that threatened to pull you under, the nights when fear felt louder than faith. But even then, I was there, I never left your side, not for a moment. You thought I was silent, but I was strengthening your soul. You thought you were drowning, but I was teaching you how to walk on water. Masurum, faith is not built on calm seas. It is proven in the storm. When everything around you shakes, faith teaches you to stand. When fear screams your name, faith whispers, mine louder. You have been learning the sacred balance, the ability to trust what you cannot see. The storm is not sent to destroy you, but to deepen your dependence. For I am not just the God of peace, I am the God of power. You have asked me, Lord, why must the battle be so long? Because, beloved, you cannot learn endurance and ease. The warrior within you would never awaken without resistance. Every hardship you faced was a holy classroom, every tear a teacher, every obstacle an opportunity for faith to mature. What you thought was breaking you was actually building you. You were learning to see beyond what is visible, to recognize my hand even when my plan was hidden. Do not despise the storm, it reveals your strength. For storms expose what is weak, but they also reveal what is unshakable. I have placed within you a spirit that cannot be defeated. Even when you felt like giving up, hope refused to die. That was me, breathing perseverance into your bones, speaking life into your weary heart. You may have bent beneath the wind, but you did not break. You have mistaken struggle for failure, but the struggle is proof that faith is still alive. If you had no faith, the enemy would have nothing to fight. The fact that you're still standing means grace has never stopped carrying you. Every time you whispered my name through tears, heaven heard it as a declaration of victory. You may not see it yet, but the battle that once broke you is becoming your breakthrough. Beloved, there is a reason I allowed the fire. Fire doesn't just destroy, it purifies. It removes what is temporary so that what is eternal can remain. I allowed the heat not to harm you, but to harden your faith into gold. You asked me for more anointing, more strength, more wisdom, and I answered not with ease, but with endurance. For these are not gifts that can be given, they are formed. Every giant you faced was grace in disguise. For you do not discover my power in comfort, but in confrontation. And when you stood before what terrified you most, trembling yet trusting, you found that I was already there. You realized the battle was never about the enemy outside. It was about the victory within. The real fight was not with fear, but for faith. And beloved, you won, not because you never fell, but because you never quit. The enemy tried to convince you that I was far away, that I had forgotten the promises spoken over your life. But I was closer than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat. I was in the whisper that said, keep going. I was in the strength that rose when you had none left. I was in the moment you chose prayer instead of panic, hope instead of despair. Every time you said amen with trembling lips, heaven moved on your behalf. Do not fear what is ahead, for I have already gone before you. The same hand that calmed the sea in Galilee still holds authority over your storm. You have seen my faithfulness behind you. Now watch it unfold before you. When the waters rise, they will not overwhelm you. When the fire burns, it will not consume you. For I am your shield, your deliverer, your everlasting strength. You often measure peace by the absence of problems, but I measure it by the presence of trust. You will never live in a world without storms, but you can live with a heart that knows how to rest in me. Even in chaos, peace is possible, for peace is not a place, it is a person, and I am that peace. When you abide in me, the storm may rage, but your soul will stay still. Let faith rise above feeling. Feelings will shift like waves, but faith anchors you to truth. And truth says, you are loved, you are chosen, you are never forsaken. When fear tells you that you're alone, answer with my word. I will never leave you nor forsake you. When doubt whispers that you can't go on, remind yourself, through Christ, I can do all things. My word is not just ink on paper. It is breath in your lungs, fire in your bones, strength in your soul. Beloved, every test you have faced was tailored for your triumph. I did not send the storm to break you, I sent it to reveal you. Now look at yourself through my eyes. You are no longer the same one who trembled in fear. You are bolder, wiser, and more dangerous to the darkness than ever before. For you now carry the authority of one who has seen my power firsthand. Faith is your weapon and worship is your warfare. When the next storm comes, and it will, do not shrink back. Lift your voice even when it shakes. Sing in the dark, for darkness cannot silence a song of faith. Speak my name, for demons tremble at the sound. Stand firm, for angels move at your declaration. You are never powerless when praise fills your mouth. So fear not, beloved. The storm is not a sign of my absence, but of my presence and power. When the waves rise again, remember this. I am still the one who commands the sea. And if I called you into the waters, it is because I know you were made to walk upon them. You are stronger than you realize because I am within you, and I never fail. When the storm passes, and it will, you will not just emerge alive, you will emerge anointed. You will carry peace that cannot be shaken, strength that cannot be stolen, and faith that cannot be silenced. For you will know beyond every doubt that I was faithful all along. And this faith, refined by fire, will become the foundation for everything I'm about to do through you. Beloved, I see the wounds you've tried to hide, the ones that time did not heal, the ones that words could not soothe. You have carried them quietly, smiling outwardly while bleeding inwardly. But I have come to remind you that you do not have to pretend to be whole for me to love you. My love is not repelled by your brokenness. It is drawn to it. For the places you see as weakness, I see as entry points for my healing. Bring me the pieces and I will make them beautiful again. You don't have to hide your pain from me. I already know every scar, every memory, every secret sorrow. I have seen the moments when your heart shattered, and still, I called you mine. When you thought no one noticed the quiet ache you carried, I was watching, not as a distant judge, but as a loving father waiting for the moment you would let me in. You see, healing begins not when you stop hurting, but when you start trusting. I cannot heal what you keep hidden. Let me into the rooms of your heart you've closed for too long. Let me touch the memories you've buried under layers of strength. I am not afraid of your pain. I can handle the mess, the anger, the confusion. I do not come to condemn, I come to restore. There is nothing too broken for my hands to rebuild. The cracks in your heart are not signs of failure. They are openings for my light. You were not ruined, you were reworked. You are not damaged goods, you are divine craftsmanship in process. I am the potter, you are the clay, and I do not discard what I create. Every scar you carry tells a story of survival and grace. And one day, those same scars will become someone else's source of strength. You have believed the lie that broken things lose value. But in my kingdom, brokenness is the beginning of beauty. The alabaster jar had to break before its fragrance could fill the room. The bread had to be broken before it could feed the multitudes. Even my body was broken before salvation could flow. So do not despise your breaking. It is the birthplace of blessing. Beloved, you have tried to heal yourself by forgetting, but forgetting is not healing. Healing does not come through erasing. It comes through embracing. You must face the pain, not to relive it, but to release it. I will walk with you through every memory, not to remind you of the hurt, but to rewrite its meaning. The past no longer defines you, it refines you. What once was a wound will become a well of wisdom. I am healing you from the inside out. Not just the symptoms, but the source. Not just what people can see, but what you barely admit to yourself. I am mending the unseen fractures, restoring the inner foundations, breathing life where despair once lived. You may not feel it all at once, but healing is happening even now. Every sigh, every tear, every surrender is part of your restoration. You have waited for healing to feel like forgetting, but healing feels like freedom. You will still remember, but the memory will no longer sting. The weight will lift, the fear will fade, and peace will remain. You will know you are healed when you can look at your past and see not what was lost, but what was learned. For I redeem not just people, but pain. Forgive, beloved, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Forgiveness does not excuse the wrong, it releases the weight. The person who hurt you may never apologize, but your freedom does not depend on their repentance. It depends on your release. When you forgive, you break the chain that ties you to pain. And once the chain is broken, I can fill that space with peace. Prophetic. You've carried bitterness thinking it was protection, but it has only poisoned the well of your joy. Let it go. You don't have to hold on to pain to prove that it mattered. I saw it all, and I will bring justice in my way, in my time. Your healing begins where your vengeance ends. When you release the offense, you make room for peace to take its place. Peace is not found by forgetting the pain, it's found by finding me in it. When you look back and realize I was there in every heartbreak, every loss, every lonely night, you will understand that love never left you. It was leading you. The hands that held you through the breaking are the same hands that now build you into beauty. I am not finished. I am perfecting what pain began. Beloved, healing is not a moment, it is a movement. Day by day, you are shedding what no longer serves your soul. You are learning to breathe without fear, to love without walls, to walk without the weight of yesterday. Some days will feel like progress, others like relapses, but both are part of the process. Keep walking, for each step forward, no matter how small, is sacred. One day soon you will wake up and realize that the ache that once ruled you has been replaced with peace. You will see how I turned your pain into purpose. The very thing the enemy used to destroy you will become the testimony that delivers others. You will no longer introduce yourself by your wounds, but by my wonders. And when people ask how you survived, you will smile and say, grace. My child, your heart is not fragile, it is sacred. I crafted it to hold love, to endure loss, to reflect heaven. I know it has been bruised, but it still beats with divine rhythm. You are not defined by what broke you, but by the one who healed you. And I, your healer, will continue to make all things new. Beloved child, the night has done its work. The breaking has birthed something new within you. You have been stretched, refined, and remade. And now, as the dawn begins to rise, so do you. The breath you feel right now, it is not ordinary air. It is my spirit breathing life back into the places that once felt lifeless. You have walked through the wilderness and found water. You have walked through fire and discovered gold. And now, child, you will walk in the wind of my spirit and find purpose. I am not only healing you, I am awakening you. I am awakening the gifts that slept beneath your pain, the dreams that hid behind your fear, and the voice that once trembled in silence. Every part of you that thought it was lost is being revived right now. Do you feel it? That stirring deep inside? It is resurrection power rising. The same power that raised Christ from the dead is quickening your spirit. The very breath that spoke galaxies into being is now whispering into your soul saying, live again. You thought the story ended with survival, but survival was just the seed. I am calling you into revival. The ashes you thought marked an ending are becoming the soil for your beginning. You will not walk through this next chapter carrying the residue of sorrow. You will walk radiant, restored, and ready. For every tear that watered your wilderness, I am birthing a garden of joy. Arise, child. The season of hiding is over. You are not forgotten. You are being revealed. I have hidden you not to punish, but to prepare. And now the same hand that shielded you will now send you. The world will see not your scars, but my signature upon your life. You will move in peace that confuses chaos, speak with authority born from affliction, and walk in grace that glows like dawn after rain. Do not fear this new beginning. You are not stepping into the unknown. You are stepping into what I have already prepared. I go before you. I walk beside you. I dwell within you. The path you could not see is now unfolding under your feet. What once felt uncertain will now flow with favor. Every closed door that confused you will now make sense in the light of what I'm opening. Beloved, you have asked for signs, for confirmation, for evidence that I am with you. But hear me, my presence is your sign. My peace is your confirmation. My spirit within you is the evidence that you are never alone. You don't need to chase the miraculous. You're walking in it. Every breath you take, every new dawn you see, every step forward is proof that I am faithful. This is your resurrection season. You will dream again, love again, believe again. The flame that flickered but never died will now burn brighter than before. The passion that pain tried to drown will now overflow as purpose. I am restoring your voice. I am renewing your vision. I am rewriting your rhythm to match heaven's heartbeat. Beloved, this new life I am giving you is not just for your comfort. It is for my calling. You are being raised for a reason. Every lesson you've learned, every pain you've endured, every prayer you've whispered in the dark, it's all part of a greater plan. I am sending you as my messenger of mercy, as my witness of wonder, as my vessel of victory. You will not only testify of survival, but of revival. You once asked me, Lord, why me? And now I answer, because I could trust you with the trial. I could trust you to hold faith when others folded. I could trust you to carry my presence in private, so I could release my power through you in public. You have proven that your worship is not for show, it is for me, and now I will trust you with the weight of glory. Child, you are my evidence. When the world asks if I still heal, I will point to you. When they wonder if faith still works, I will let them hear your story. You are living proof that what the enemy meant for evil, I turned for good. You are the song that pain tried to silence, but heaven decided to amplify. You are the echo of endurance, the embodiment of grace, the testimony of triumph. Do not shrink back now. You have survived too much to settle for silence. Speak the words I give you. Walk the path I show you. Share the hope I've placed within you. For through you, others will rise. Through your story, faith will rekindle in weary hearts. Through your obedience, light will pierce the darkest corners. Beloved, breathe deep. This is not the end of your journey. It is the unveiling of your purpose. You are not just healed, you are holy. You are not just restored, you are reborn. The same spirit that hovered over the waters in Genesis now hovers over you, forming beauty from what once was void. And I, your creator, am delighted in what I see. Now go forth, my beloved, carrying peace as your banner and grace as your armor. Wherever you walk, let hope follow. Wherever you speak, let light flow. For the world will not remember your pain. They will remember my power through your life, and I will walk with you until the end of the age. Your story is no longer one of brokenness. It is one of becoming. You have risen from the ashes, carrying the fragrance of grace and the fire of faith. This is your rebirth. This is your new song. This is the beginning of forever. If this message spoke to your heart, take a moment to let it breathe through you. Like this video if you feel renewed. Share it with someone who needs to remember that God still restores. Subscribe to stay connected in faith and comment below these words. I am renewed, I am rising again. Beloved child, the time of waiting has ended. The quiet has done its work. You have been refined by fire and softened by grace. Now heaven is stirring with purpose, and I am calling your name. You were not healed to remain hidden. You were restored to be revealed. For everything I have done in you, I now desire to do through you. You have walked through the valley of tears, and every drop has been gathered in my hands. I have turned your mourning into wisdom, your pain into compassion, your scars into authority. Now I send you forth not as one who is merely whole, but as one who carries wholeness wherever you go. You are a vessel of my spirit, a living testimony of redemption, a carrier of light into the shadowed places. Rise, my child, for I have chosen you. I have placed my hand upon your shoulder and whispered your name in the courts of heaven. What you thought was a delay was preparation. What you thought was silence was strategy. For I have been equipping you for this very hour. Every wound, every prayer, every act of surrender has shaped your calling. You are my instrument, fine-tuned for a divine melody the world has yet to hear. The world does not need another voice of noise. It needs a voice of truth. And that, beloved, is what you are becoming. When you speak, your words will carry the fragrance of heaven. When you move, your presence will release peace. When you pray, chains will break not by your power, but by the power of the one who lives in you. I have anointed your life not for comfort, but for commission. Do you remember the years you felt invisible, unseen, forgotten? I saw you then. I was teaching you to recognize my voice in the dark so you could follow it in the light. I hid you in the shadow of my hand, not to withhold you from the world, but to protect the treasure within you. And now the moment has come. I am releasing you as a light in the world, a living flame that no darkness can extinguish. Go, my child, into the world that once broke you, not to seek revenge, but to release restoration. Go back to the people who doubted you and show them grace. Go back to the places where you failed and bring redemption. For I am not sending you to prove them wrong. I am sending you to prove my love right. You will be my hands that heal, my heart that forgives, my voice that restores. You have been wondering how such an ordinary person could carry such an extraordinary calling. But hear me, beloved, your ordinariness is what makes you usable. I do not anoint perfection, I anoint surrender. I do not call the qualified, I qualify the called. What I have placed within you cannot be measured by your resume or your reputation. It is measured by your willingness to say yes. When I said go to Moses, he said, "Who am I?" When I called Jeremiah, he said, "I am too young." When I sent Gideon, he said, "I am the least." And yet through their weakness, my strength was perfected. So do not look at your flaws as disqualifications. Look at them as the very cracks through which my light will shine. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. You are stepping into a new rhythm now, a rhythm of obedience and flow. No longer striving, no longer proving, but simply abiding and responding. You will move when I whisper, and you will rest when I nod. I will lead you into divine appointments, moments that seem small but ripple through eternity. The words you speak in faith will echo far beyond your lifetime. This is how heaven expands, through quiet obedience and bold love. Do not fear lack. You will have what you need for what I've called you to do. My provision flows not from striving, but from assignment. Wherever I send you, I will sustain you. And the resources you release from my kingdom will never leave your life empty. They will return multiplied, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. For I am a generous Father, and your obedience is the key that opens heaven's storehouse. You will meet resistance, yes, but do not let fear paralyze you. The moment you step into destiny, opposition awakens. Yet every attack will only refine your focus, deepen your dependence, and magnify my strength through you. The enemy knows what you carry, and that is why he fought so hard to break you. But he failed, because the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead now lives within you, and no weapon formed against you shall prosper. Beloved, do not underestimate what I can do through your obedience. A single act of kindness can shift a generation. A quiet prayer can open a closed heaven. A word spoken in faith can awaken a soul. Never despise small beginnings, for it is in the small, unseen moments that I release the greatest moves of my kingdom. Be faithful in little, and I will make you ruler over much. This is your commissioning, my beloved. You are being sent as an ambassador of heaven, a representative of divine love. The same Spirit that hovered over creation now hovers over your life, waiting for your yes. Heaven is watching, angels are ready, and I, your Father, am smiling. The world will not recognize you at first, but they will recognize me through you. Go forth, my chosen one. Speak light where there is darkness. Build bridges where there are walls. Heal hearts where there is hurt. Love boldly, forgive freely, and carry peace as your weapon. For wherever you go, my presence will follow like a river of fire, and signs of my goodness will trail behind your footsteps. You are no longer a bystander in the story of faith. You are a participant. You are my voice, my hands, my reflection in a weary world. Walk with courage, for heaven moves with you. Speak with confidence, for the Lion of Judah roars through you. Live with love, for my Spirit dwells within you. This is your divine purpose, to reveal me wherever you go. Now lift your eyes to the horizon and breathe. A new chapter has begun. The world awaits the light I've placed within you. Go, my child, and let your life become the living evidence that God still moves, still speaks, still saves. For this is your time. This is your calling. This is your commission. My beloved child, the dawn of influence is rising upon your life. The very prayers you whispered in hidden places are now unfolding before your eyes. Doors once sealed shut are opening easily. People are beginning to listen, to follow, to be moved by the light within you. But as your influence grows, so too must your awareness. For every new height brings a new kind of battle, the one fought not in the shadows of adversity, but in the sunlight of success. It is easier, my child, to cling to me in times of pain than in times of praise. When storms raged, you held tightly to my robe, desperate for shelter. But now, in the gentle warmth of triumph, the temptation will come to loosen your grip, to stand tall on the mountain and forget the hands that lifted you there. The battle within, the battle for your heart, has only just begun. Guard your heart above all else, for out of it flow the issues of life. The enemy who could not break you through failure will now try to seduce you through success. He will whisper, "Look what you have done," instead of, "Look what God has done through you." He will turn applause into poison, fame into distraction, and influence into pride if your heart is not anchored in humility. So I say again, stay low, stay grounded in gratitude. Remember the valley, remember the fire, remember the tears that taught you dependence. There will be days when others exalt you, when they call you wise, gifted, or chosen. Smile with grace, but in your secret heart, lay every compliment at my feet. For you are only the vessel, not the source. The light shining from your life is mine, reflected through your surrender. Do not become intoxicated by admiration, for it can be as blinding as pain. Both can pull your gaze away from me. Beloved, your greatest strength is not your charisma or your eloquence. It is your ability to remain teachable. When others begin to call you leader, you must still kneel as a learner. When you are placed on platforms, stay hidden in spirit. Let the noise of the crowd never drown out the whisper of my voice. The moment you stop listening is the moment you start drifting. Do not confuse activity with intimacy. You can preach about me and still forget to pray to me. You can work for me and yet not walk with me. The demands of ministry, of purpose, will multiply. But I do not measure your success by your output. I measure it by your obedience. Your calendar will fill, but your spirit must remain still. For the branch does not bear fruit by striving, it bears fruit by abiding. I have seen too many of my servants burn out under the weight of good work. Their intentions were pure, but they forgot their source. They gave more than they received, poured out faster than they refilled, until their flame flickered low. Do not let this be your story. Come back to the secret place daily. Drink deeply of my presence before you pour into others. The well that feeds nations must be replenished by the river of living water. When you face temptation in this new season, it may not come as blatant sin. It will often come disguised as opportunity, invitations that look good but do not carry my breath, connections that promise progress but pull you away from peace. You must learn to discern between the open door I create and the distraction the enemy decorates. Not every stage is yours to stand on. Not every voice is yours to answer. You will know the difference by the peace in your spirit. My will always brings peace even when it challenges you. The enemy's offers will bring excitement, but also unrest. Follow peace, not pressure. Let my spirit be your compass, not public opinion. You are not called to be popular. You are called to be pure. The world may not understand your restraint, but heaven will rejoice in your obedience. There will also be moments when success feels lonely, when those who once walked with you cannot follow where I am leading you. Do not mistake isolation for abandonment. Some elevations require solitude. When you climb the mountain, the air grows thinner. Fewer can breathe where you are going. But I will be your companion on that sacred summit. You will find that silence with me is louder than applause from men. Remember, humility is not weakness, it is wisdom. Pride builds towers, humility builds altars. The tower seeks to reach heaven through human strength, but the altar brings heaven down through surrender. When you kneel before me, heaven stands with you. When you exalt yourself, heaven resists you. So choose the altar. Choose the place where your knees touch holy ground. In this season of expansion, learn the rhythm of rest and reverence. Do not run ahead of me. Walk in step with my pace. I am not impressed by speed. I delight in steadfastness. Slow obedience is still disobedience, but rushed obedience without listening is reckless. Therefore be still often. Let your soul breathe between victories. You will also see storms return, not to destroy you, but to keep you dependent. For I love you too much to let success separate us. When I allow the winds to blow, it is to remind you that your roots go deep only when you cling to me. Do not fear the shaking. It anchors your soul to what cannot be moved. Be still and know that I am God. Beloved, the truest victory in this season will not be the platform you build, but the purity you maintain. I am not looking for perfection. I am looking for hearts that remain soft. Hearts that still cry when they pray, still tremble at my word, still rejoice when they see another blessed. Guard that tenderness. It is the mark of my presence. So when you find yourself celebrated, remember the secret vow you made in the valley, to give me all the glory. Keep that promise, and I will keep exalting you safely. For the one who knows how to bow can never fall. This is the secret of longevity in my kingdom. Humility sustained by intimacy. Stay close to me, and your light will never dim. You have fought battles to survive, and now you will fight battles to stay surrendered. Do not fear them, for I am training you in endurance. Every moment of hidden prayer, every decision to choose love over ego, every unseen act of obedience adds to your eternal crown. This is what it means to be victorious in spirit, to win the quiet wars of the heart. And so, my beloved, walk humbly into the light of your purpose. Wear grace like armor and love like fire. Let your influence be a reflection, not a performance. For your crown is not made of gold, it is made of surrender. You are the proof that humility and greatness can live in the same heart. Beloved child, do not be surprised when the fire returns. You thought you had left the valley behind, that the pain was only for a season. But I tell you, the fire does not come to destroy you. It comes to preserve you. For every calling worth carrying must be tested in the furnace of refinement. The flames that once frightened you are now the same ones that will protect your purity. You see, beloved, the higher I take you, the more intense the purification must become. The elevation of your influence demands the purification of your intentions. The luster of your anointing must be maintained by the heat of my holiness. Without the fire, even gold loses its shine. So do not run from the flame. Run into it, knowing that I am there within the fire with you. Remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? When they were thrown into the furnace, they were not burned. The only thing the fire consumed were the ropes that bound them. So too will this season of heat release you from what no longer serves your soul. The fire does not come to destroy, it comes to deliver. Every trial I allow carries a hidden mercy. It reveals what cannot go with you to the next level. There will be days when the flame feels unfair, when the heat seems unbearable. You will wonder, Lord, why again? Haven't I suffered enough? But hear me, beloved. Refinement is not punishment, it is preparation. I am not angry with you. I am aligning you. I am burning away fear disguised as control, pride hidden in success, motives tainted with self. For only the purified heart can carry the weight of my glory without breaking beneath it. The enemy will try to convince you that the fire means I have abandoned you. But I tell you this, my presence burns brighter in the furnace than anywhere else. When the world sees flames, I see fellowship. When they see danger, I see intimacy. For the fire that refines you also reveals me. I walk in the fire with my chosen ones. Beloved, you asked for deeper faith, and I am answering. But faith cannot grow in comfort, it matures in confrontation. You prayed, Lord, make me like you. And I am. Yet to share in my resurrection, you must also share in my suffering. To reflect my glory, you must first pass through my fire. For it is in the heat of trial that compassion deepens, patience strengthens, and humility is perfected. When the fire comes, many will misunderstand your season. Some will think you did something wrong. Others will walk away, unable to endure the sight of your testing. But I will send angels disguised as strangers, moments of quiet reassurance, and whispers of hope that say, endure, child, endure. For this refining is holy work, unseen but eternal. Every furnace I lead you through forges something eternal in you. You may lose comfort, but you will gain character. You may lose applause, but you will gain authenticity. You may lose temporary satisfaction, but you will gain eternal substance. These are the treasures of the fire. Faith that cannot be shaken, hope that cannot be stolen, love that cannot be extinguished. Beloved, I know how weary you can feel in the waiting. You look at the fire and wonder how long it must burn. But I assure you, the flame will not last 1 second longer than it needs to. I am the refiner and the timekeeper. I know precisely when your soul has reached its radiance. When the impurities are gone, I will turn down the heat and bring you forth shining as pure gold. Until then, let your prayer not be, Lord, take away the fire, but Lord, teach me through it. Ask not for escape, but for endurance. For I am doing in the fire what I cannot do in the calm. I am shaping resilience where there was fear, holiness where there was haste, and maturity where there was emotion. You are becoming who I saw from the beginning, refined, radiant, ready. Do you remember how the silversmith works? He sits beside the fire, never leaving the metal unattended. He keeps his eyes fixed on it, waiting patiently. And how does he know it is ready? When he can see his reflection in the silver. Beloved, That is how I work with you. The fire is finished when my image is formed in you. In the coming days, there will be moments when you feel stripped, when you see nothing but ashes. Do not despair. The ashes are proof that the fire did its work. From those ashes I will birth beauty again. What was once lost will become legacy. What was once sorrow will become song. For I specialize in resurrection, even in what seems reduced to dust. There is a purity that only the fire can bring, a singleness of heart, a clarity of purpose. You will emerge with eyes that see differently, with hands that hold lightly, with faith that trusts quickly. You will no longer chase every open door, for you will know that only one path carries peace. You will no longer fear the flame, for you will recognize it as the friend that keeps you free. Beloved, every great calling is guarded by a fire. Those who run from it never reach their fullness, but those who embrace it walk in a purity the world cannot touch. You are one of those chosen few. You will rise not in spite of the fire, but because of it. You will carry flames that heal, not harm, flames of truth, compassion, and righteousness. This is the secret of the refiner's fire. It hurts, but it heals. It burns, but it blesses. It strips, but it strengthens. And when it is over, nothing of value is lost. Only what could not last remains behind. So rejoice even in the heat, for this is not your ending. It is your anointing. Now stand still, my beloved. Let the fire finish its holy work. Trust the refiner, trust the process, for soon the flames will fade and you will step forth radiant, carrying not the smell of smoke, but the fragrance of glory. And when others ask how you endured, you will say with peace, the Lord was in the fire with me. Beloved, the fire has passed. The air is still now. The world that once burned with trial now rests in a holy quiet. This is the moment many miss, the sacred pause after the storm. The silence that follows the shaking is not emptiness, it is invitation. I am in the stillness, waiting for you to listen. You have learned to see me in the battle, to call on me in the storm, to trust me in the fire. But now I am teaching you something higher, to find me in the quiet. For my loudest lessons are often whispered. My greatest power is clothed in gentleness. And my voice, it is not thunder, but tenderness. Remember Elijah, my prophet. He stood on the mountain waiting for me, and a great wind tore through the rocks, but I was not in the wind. Then came an earthquake, but I was not in the earthquake. After the fire came a gentle whisper, and that whisper was me. So now, beloved, I draw you into a deeper way of knowing me, not through noise, but through nearness. When the noise fades and the applause stops, when the world goes quiet and you feel alone, that is where I speak clearest. Not because I was ever far, but because the quiet finally allows you to hear. Be still, my child, and know that I am God. You have asked your Huntatron, Lord, how can I hear you? And I say, you already do. It's the nudge in your spirit, the peace in your decision, the ache in your heart that will not go away. It is not always a voice. It is a vibration of love that your soul recognizes as home. For you were made to know my frequency, and every time your heart grows still, you tune back to it. Silence is not absence. It is alignment. It is in the quiet that your spirit catches up to my spirit. The distractions fall away, the burdens loosen, and suddenly you remember, I am here. I was never gone. I am closer than your breath, gentler than your heartbeat, deeper than your thoughts. And in that awareness, peace begins to speak louder than fear. The world will try to pull you back into the noise, into endless talking, endless scrolling, endless striving. But do not be deceived, beloved. The noise is not life. It is distraction dressed as purpose. You will find me not in the crowd, but in the corner of stillness where you sit with nothing but your breath and your faith. That moment of awareness is where heaven kisses earth. You have come to understand that my voice is not only guidance, it is grace. When I speak, I do not only direct, I heal. My words wash over the weariness of your soul. Even when I correct you, I do it with compassion. For every word from my mouth carries life, and every silence from me carries purpose. Beloved, learn to love the pause between your prayers and my answers, the space between your steps and my next instruction. That is where trust is born. If I spoke every moment, you would follow my words, but in the quiet, you learn to follow my heart. Do not rush out of the silence. Rest here. Let me whisper truth back into your tired mind. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are simply being still, and that stillness is strength. It is here, in the slow rhythm of peace, that I repair what the storm has worn down. When you quiet your soul, you create room for revelation. I will show you things that cannot be seen through striving. You will hear direction for seasons you didn't know were coming. I will place divine ideas into your imagination, blueprints of purpose birthed in silence. For when the noise stops, creativity begins to breathe. The greatest prophets were not those who shouted the loudest, but those who listened the longest. They learned that revelation does not come through volume, but through vulnerability. To hear me clearly, you must be willing to be quiet and unguarded. The whisper of God is only heard by hearts that stop performing and start surrendering. There will be moments when my silence stretches longer than your comfort. Do not interpret that silence as distance. It is simply a pause between symphonies, a moment when heaven breathes in before it breathes out again. Trust me in the spaces where you hear nothing, for even in silence I am speaking, teaching your soul to recognize my presence without words. Beloved, let prayer become less of what you say and more of where you stay. Sit with me. Do not rush to speak. Simply dwell. Let your breathing become your worship, your stillness become your song. For when you rest in me, the world cannot pull you out of peace. You will begin to carry silence like a shield, calm like a crown. My voice will become your compass. It will not shout, but it will shape. You will feel me tug gently when you stray, nudge softly when you hesitate. You will know it is me, not by the sound, but by the stillness it leaves behind. For my presence never leaves confusion, it leaves clarity. So listen, my child, do not look for me in the thunder. Find me in the quiet rhythm of your spirit, in the peace between heartbeats, in the sacred pause before dawn. That is where I wait for you, not demanding, not distant, but devoted. I am here always whispering, be still, you are mine. Beloved child, now that you have learned to listen, it is time to live. Not merely to exist, not to survive, but to live daily in the presence of peace. The same stillness that held you in prayer must now hold you in every step. You were never meant to visit my presence. You were created to dwell in it. Peace is not the absence of storms. It is the atmosphere of my spirit. It is not a feeling to chase, but a reality to remain in. When you walk in peace, you are walking in alignment with me. For peace is not fragile. It is fierce. It guards, it guides, it governs. It is both your rest and your resistance against chaos. Every morning before the world reaches for you, reach for me. Let the first breath you take be one of surrender. Whisper, Lord, rule my day, and I will. Invite me into your schedule, your thoughts, your words. When you begin in my presence, the day cannot steal your peace. There will be moments when the noise of life presses hard against your calm. You will feel tension rise, anger stir, fear whisper. But peace is not lost, it is chosen. In every conflict, you will have the power to protect peace or to surrender it. Choose to pause before reacting. Choose to breathe before speaking. Choose to love instead of proving right. My peace is not passive, it carries power. It silences storms without shouting. It conquers fear without force. It turns chaos into clarity with a single word. Be still. That same authority I used to calm the sea, I have given to you. When anxiety rises, speak to it. When confusion swirls, bless it with peace. You are not a victim of atmosphere. You are a vessel of my spirit. Carry peace like a mantle upon your shoulders. Let it clothe your thoughts, your tone, your walk. When others meet you, they should feel calm, not because of who you are, but because of who is with you. For those who dwell in my presence become walking sanctuaries. Every room you enter becomes holy ground. You will face days when peace feels distant, when burdens weigh heavy and faith feels faint. In those moments, do not strive to regain peace. Simply return to awareness. Whisper my name. Breathe my word. The moment you remember me, peace returns. For I am peace, and where I am, unrest cannot remain. Beloved, do not let the enemy trick you into thinking peace is fragile. The peace I give you is not a candle that flickers in the wind. It is a fire that darkness cannot quench. It is the same peace that held me steady on the cross, the same calm that kept me silent before those who accused me. That peace now lives in you. It is your inheritance, your identity, your weapon. The world will misunderstand this kind of peace. They will mistake it for indifference when in truth it is intimacy. They will wonder how you remain calm when everything shakes, not realizing that you are anchored in eternity. Peace is not ignorance of reality. It is confidence in sovereignty. When you know who holds the world, you no longer fear what happens within it. To live in peace is to live in rhythm with heaven. The world rushes, but heaven rests. The world competes, but heaven completes. The world fears running out, but heaven overflows. You are not bound by the clock of chaos. You are guided by the calendar of grace. Every delay has divine timing. Every waiting season holds holy purpose. When you carry peace, you become a peacemaker. And peacemakers are not passive, they are powerful. They stand between conflict and chaos, choosing reconciliation over revenge. They carry heaven's harmony into earth's noise. That is why I said, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God." You bear my resemblance when you choose peace over pride. When worry knocks at your door, do not open it with panic. Open it with prayer. Let gratitude answer before anxiety can speak. For thanksgiving is the gateway to peace. As it is written, do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. Your peace is a testimony. When others see you calm in chaos, they will ask, "What holds you together?" And you will answer, "It is not what, but who." The peace within you will become the sermon they remember. Without words, your stillness will preach louder than any speech. This is how the kingdom spreads, not through noise, but through presence. Beloved, peace is not just for your quiet moments. It is for your crowded ones. It is not for Sundays only. It is for Mondays too. Let it dwell in your conversations, your work, your relationships, your rest. Let peace shape your decisions, filter your responses, and steady your emotions. You will not always control the situation, but you can always carry my spirit within it. And when night falls, let peace tuck you in again. Lay your head on my promises, not your problems. Rest knowing that what you released in prayer will rise in purpose by morning. The same hand that held you through the storm will hold you through the sleep. For I, your shepherd, never slumber nor sleep. Peace is not a destination, it is your dwelling place. Live there, move there, breathe there, and every step you take will carry the fragrance of heaven. My presence will be your constant companion, and wherever peace goes, I go with it. Beloved, peace finds its fullness in obedience. For what good is stillness if it does not lead to surrender? What good is faith if it refuses to follow when sight disappears? The oil of obedience is the fragrance heaven recognizes most. It is the aroma that rises when you choose to trust me, even when understanding fades. You have learned to be still in my presence. Now learn to move at my command. For faith that only stays is incomplete. True faith both rests and responds. There will be times when my instruction makes no sense to the natural mind. I may tell you to speak when silence feels safer, or to wait when everything inside you screams, now! Suriri, these are the moments where your trust becomes holy oil, poured upon the altar of surrender. When I told Abraham to leave his homeland, I didn't show him the map. When I called Moses, I didn't remove his stutter. When I chose Mary, I didn't erase the scandal of her yes. Obedience has never been about clarity. It has always been about covenant. To obey is to say, even if I don't see the way, I trust the one who leads. Child, there will be moments when my direction will stretch your logic to its limits. I will ask you to forgive when you have every reason to protect yourself. I will ask you to give when resources feel scarce. I will ask you to stay silent when words burn on your tongue. This is the refining of obedience, the moment where you discover that trust is not an emotion, it is a decision. You see, obedience is not about compliance. It is about connection. It is how love breathes. Every time you obey, you declare, I belong to you. And in that declaration, fear loses its grip. The enemy cannot imitate obedience because it requires humility, and humility is the gateway to glory. The proud demand to understand, but the pure simply trust. Beloved, do not despise the small instructions. Often it is the simple step that unlocks the supernatural shift. One act of obedience can rewrite generations. When Peter cast his net one more time, he wasn't obeying logic. He was obeying me. And when he did, the overflow came. Not because he worked harder, but because he trusted deeper. You may feel like your obedience goes unnoticed, like your sacrifices vanish into silence. But I see them all. Every time you choose my way instead of your own, heaven records it as worship. I measure faith not by your results, but by your response. The moment you say, yes, Lord, even while trembling, the atmosphere shifts. Angels move at the sound of your obedience. Child, I know obedience sometimes feels like loss. When you let go of what you wanted, when you walk away from what looked good, when you choose stillness over striving, it can feel like defeat. But I promise you, nothing surrendered in obedience ever truly leaves you. I return it multiplied, purified, sanctified. You will never lose what you place in my hands. Sometimes obedience will not come with applause, but with isolation. You will obey me and find yourself misunderstood, even by those who love you most. But listen carefully. The path of obedience is rarely crowded. Few will understand it, but heaven celebrates it. The quiet ones who obey in secret build the loudest legacies, and you, my child, are among them. The oil of obedience doesn't flow in moments of certainty. It flows in mystery. It anoints those who walk by faith, not by sight. You will never feel ready. You will rarely feel equipped. But readiness was never the requirement. Willingness is. It is not your strength I seek. It is your surrender. You have asked me, Lord, why must I obey when I do not understand? And I answer, because obedience is the bridge between revelation and reward. When you obey, you open space for me to reveal what your reason cannot reach. You don't need to know how I will work. You only need to know that I will. The miracle always meets the obedient. Think of Noah. He built an ark when there was no rain. He endured the laughter of men, the weight of years, the confusion of delay. Yet when the first drop fell, The world finally saw what faith had built in silence. So it will be with you. Your obedience in the dry season will protect you in the flood. Beloved, every step of obedience is a seed, and those seeds disappear beneath the soil. They are never lost. They die only to deliver life. So don't mourn the seed you planted in surrender. Watch, and you will see the harvest rise where you once felt buried. I turn obedience into overflow. Let this be your prayer. Lord, even when I do not see, I will still say yes. Say it on the mountaintop and in the valley, in success and in sorrow. Let obedience become the rhythm of your heart, because when you obey, you are never walking alone. My footsteps align with yours. My presence walks within your yes. Obedience is love in motion. Every time you choose my will over your want, you love me again, and that love will never return void. The oil of obedience flows upon your head now. It will mark you. It will multiply through you. It will make your life a living offering that carries my glory wherever you go. Beloved, after obedience comes restoration. For I am not the God who only tests, I am the God who rebuilds. I do not strip away to leave you empty. I prune so that new fruit may come forth. Everything you thought was lost, I am restoring in ways far beyond your imagination. I have watched the seasons of breaking, the nights of silent endurance, the mornings where hope felt faint. I was not absent in your emptiness. I was architecting renewal. You looked at the ruins and saw endings, but I saw foundations. You thought the story was closing, but I was simply turning the page. Restoration is never a rewind. It is a resurrection. Child, I never rebuild exactly as before. When I restore, I do not return what was lost. I redeem it. I don't give back what you had. I give you what you never knew you needed. For the broken places are not scars of shame. They are sacred entry points for my glory. The cracks in your life are where my light shines through most brightly. You have asked me, Lord, can anything good come from this pain? And I answer, yes, beloved. From the ashes of your despair, I am creating beauty. From the soil of your sorrow, I am raising new joy. Do you remember the promise I gave through Isaiah? I will give you beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, and praise for despair. That promise is yours today. You thought what broke you would bury you, but instead it birthed you. Every shattered piece became a seed. You didn't lose yourself. You were remade. The person you were could not carry the glory that now rests upon you. I had to break what was brittle to reveal what was eternal. I did not destroy you. I distilled you. When I restore, I do not rush. Restoration requires rhythm. Grace layered upon grace, healing upon healing. You see progress one moment and still feel pain the next, and you wonder if I am truly working. But child, restoration is like dawn. The light doesn't appear all at once. It stretches slowly, steadily, until darkness fades completely. There are places in you that I am rebuilding in silence. You may not see it yet, but your soul is gaining strength where it once trembled. Your faith is growing roots where doubt once lived. I am restoring not just your circumstances, but your confidence. I am teaching you that true restoration begins within before it manifests without. Do not rush the process. Do not despise the slow rebuilding. The longer the foundation is laid, the stronger the structure will stand. Every delay is strengthening your depth. You are not waiting for me to move. I am waiting for you to see that I already am. Every quiet moment, every healed thought, every peaceful breath is part of my restoration unfolding. Restoration will not always look like replacement. Sometimes what I return doesn't resemble what you lost. The relationships may not look the same. The dreams may shift. The paths may change. But all of it is better, fuller, safer in my hands. Because what I restore is never fragile, it is fortified. Remember how I restored Job. He lost everything that mattered, yet his faith remained. And in the end, I blessed him with double what was taken. His loss became the platform for revelation. When you stay faithful in the famine, I prepare overflow for your future. The same God who restored Job is restoring you. Child, I have not forgotten what was broken. I am mending what the years have torn. I am redeeming the moments that seemed wasted. I am bringing reconciliation where there was rejection, laughter where there was lament, and abundance where there was absence. My restoration is not cosmetic, it is creative. You will know my restoration because it will not just restore what was lost, it will restore who you are. The one who doubted will now declare. The one who hid will now shine. The one who mourned will now minister. Every pain becomes purpose when placed in my hands. Nothing is wasted when love is the builder. Do not let regret anchor you to yesterday. I am not calling you to rebuild the past. I am calling you to rise into the new. The past was the classroom. The present is the construction site. The future is the cathedral. You are my masterpiece in progress, being shaped stone by grace. And when I am finished, the reflection will look like me. Beloved, restoration is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of glory. You will walk into rooms you once wept outside of. You will see doors open that were once sealed, and you will realize that every detour was destiny's design. I make all things new, not some, not many, but all. This is my promise, and I never fail. So breathe, child. The God who rebuilds ruins is rebuilding you. The hands that formed Eden are forming your future. The same spirit that raised Christ from the dead now breathes through your brokenness. Stand tall among the ruins, for they are not your ending. They are your evidence. You are the living proof that nothing surrendered to me stays shattered. Beloved, you have walked through the breaking, and you have seen my restoration. Now you stand at the threshold of overflow. This is not a trickle of blessing, it is a river. For I, your Lord, am not a God of barely enough. I am the God of more than enough. When I pour out, it is pressed down, shaken together, and running over. You once prayed simply to survive, but now you will thrive. You once asked for provision, now I am releasing purpose. You once lived in defense, now you will live in dominion. For overflow is not just about what you receive, it is about what you release. I have healed you so you can heal others. I have blessed you so you can bless. The cup that was once empty is now running over. But understand this mystery, child. The cup was never meant to hold the water. It was meant to pour it out. I filled you not for comfort, but for commission. The overflow of your life is my answer to someone else's prayer. You are not just a recipient of grace, you are a vessel of it. You once asked, Lord, will you bless me? And I did. But now I ask you, will you carry the blessing? Will you let it flow beyond you, into every place I send you? I did not make you a reservoir, I made you a river. Wherever you flow, life will follow. Wherever your words go, healing will rise. Child, you will begin to notice a new grace upon your life. You will speak with a wisdom that is not your own. You will walk into rooms where tension reigns, and peace will follow you. You will lay your hands on the weary, and strength will return to them. Because the overflow of my spirit is no longer visiting you, it is abiding within you. Do not fear the abundance. Some shrink from blessing, believing they are unworthy of it. But you are not walking in reward, you are walking in inheritance. You are not taking what is mine, you are receiving what is yours through me. For the same blood that bought your redemption also purchased your abundance. You will begin to see my provision in unexpected ways. Doors that were sealed will swing open without effort. Opportunities you once chased will begin to chase you. The favor upon your name will echo in rooms you've never entered. Because when I promote, no man can demote. When I bless, no circumstance can reverse it. The world measures abundance in possessions, but I measure it in purpose. True abundance is not about how much you own, but how much of heaven flows through you. The wealth I give is not just in coins, it is in calling. The overflow I pour out will touch nations through your faith, your compassion, your obedience. Do not mistake abundance for ease. With overflow comes responsibility. I will bless the work of your hands, but I will also test the motives of your heart. I will enlarge your territory, but I will also expect your humility to grow in equal measure. Stay low, even as I lift you high, for only the humble can carry the weight of my glory. The overflow is also a weapon, for when your life begins to overflow with love, darkness loses its grip. When joy becomes your default, despair has nowhere to dwell. When peace reigns in your heart, fear finds no room to hide. You will defeat the enemy not by fighting harder, but by overflowing deeper. Beloved, there is a fragrance that flows from a soul that has overflowed with grace. It smells like peace in chaos. It sounds like praise in pain. It looks like love in places where love should have died. That fragrance, child, is what draws others to me. Overflow is evangelism without words. It is the testimony of transformation that no sermon could replace. You are entering a season where you will give freely and not run dry, where your prayers will carry power because they are soaked in compassion, where your words will comfort because they have been refined by experience, and where your heart will find peace even in responsibility, because the overflow does not drain, it replenishes as it pours. Remember this: abundance is not the absence of lack, but the awareness of sufficiency. You will see lack around you, but you will not live from it. You will carry peace into scarcity, and my supply will meet you there. You will walk into darkness carrying light, and shadows will disappear. For my overflow is not seasonal, it is eternal. So lift your hands, my child. I am anointing them for increase. Lift your eyes, I am expanding your vision. Lift your voice, I am multiplying your impact. The rivers are rising, the harvest is ripe, the world is waiting. You are my overflow, and through you many will taste and see that the Lord is good. Step forward now. The days of scarcity are behind you. The wells are open, the windows of heaven are unlocked. Walk boldly in the abundance of grace, the abundance of purpose, and the abundance of my love. For this is not just your blessing, it is your calling. You are not just living in overflow, you are becoming it. Beloved, with every blessing comes a battle. For what I give, the enemy seeks to steal. He cannot create, so he corrupts. He cannot bless, so he distracts. But I have not given you blessings to fear losing them. I have given you power to protect what I place in your hands. The season of overflow brings its own kind of warfare. When I elevate you, the enemy will attempt to infiltrate. He will not always come as opposition. Sometimes he comes as opportunity. He will try to turn your blessing into a burden, your focus into fatigue, your gratitude into greed. That is why you must guard your heart even more fiercely in seasons of favor. You once fought the enemy for your survival. Now you must fight for your stewardship. The attacks are subtler, but the stakes are higher. He will whisper, "You did this." He will say, "You earned it." But remember, beloved, pride is the quickest path out of presence. What humility receives, pride always loses. Guard your peace, for the enemy cannot take what I have given unless you let him disturb your rest. He will stir comparison, ignite insecurity, and magnify the noise. But you have learned the secret. Peace is power. Do not react, remain. Do not rush, rest. When you stay still in spirit, the arrows lose their aim. Guard your gratitude. It is the fence around your field of blessing. When thanksgiving fades, entitlement enters. Every time you whisper, "Thank you, Lord," you reinforce your protection. Gratitude keeps the gate closed to greed. For the enemy knows he cannot steal what you continually praise me for. Guard your focus. The more I increase you, the more distractions will surround you. Everyone will want your attention, your time, your energy. But child, not every open door is divine. Some doors lead to detours. Learn to say no, even to good things, if they pull you from God things. The battle of blessing is not about defending possessions. It is about defending perspective. Remember why I blessed you, not to boast, but to build, not to impress, but to impact. Every blessing is a tool, not a trophy. Use it to lift others. Use it to point back to me. When you keep the purpose pure, the blessing will always multiply. Child, guard your intimacy with me. Do not let success substitute for surrender. The enemy will not always tempt you with sin. He will tempt you with speed. He will make you so busy doing things for me that you forget to be with me. But my presence is not a luxury. It is your lifeline. Without intimacy, even blessings become idols. You must also guard your relationships. Some will celebrate your increase. Others will envy it. Not everyone who claps is connected to your calling. Discernment will be your shield. Keep your circle pure. Walk with those who love the giver more than the gift. The right people will protect your purpose, the wrong ones will drain it. Do not fear losing what I have given. The enemy cannot snatch what is sealed by obedience. He may attack, but he cannot overthrow what is anchored in my will. Every blessing built on surrender is indestructible. You don't need to fight to keep it. You only need to stay faithful to sustain it. When the weight of blessing feels heavy, remember this: my grace grows with your assignment. You will not run out of strength because the oil that brought you here is still flowing. The anointing that opened the door will keep it open. The same Spirit that promoted you will preserve you. You are not carrying the blessing alone. I am carrying you with it. Furio, Meruwan Hanuman. Child, when you walk in abundance, walk in awareness. Let humility be your crown. Let worship be your wealth. When I increase you, increase your prayer. When I elevate you, deepen your gratitude. For the safest place for any blessing is beneath bowed knees. There, the enemy cannot reach. Guard the gates of your mind. Every thought is a seed. Every seed grows something. Do not let doubt sow weeds in your garden. Replace worry with worship, fear with faith, and criticism with compassion. The greatest defense against the enemy's lies is the memory of my truth. Keep my word as your weapon and your song. Beloved, the battle of the blessing is not one to dread. It is one to discern. When you fight from peace instead of panic, you always win. For I have not called you to maintain blessings in fear, but to multiply them in faith. I did not give you favor to make you fragile. I gave it to make you fearless. The blessing itself is proof that the victory is already yours. So stand firm, my child. Keep your hands open, your eyes lifted, and your heart pure. What I have begun in you, I will sustain. The battle may rage, but the blessing will remain. For my word over you is sealed, and my presence is your protection. No weapon formed against your favor will prosper. Beloved, everything I have spoken, everything I have shaped within you, leads to this final truth. You were made for my presence, not just for a season, not just for a miracle, but for eternity. Every trial, every restoration, every overflow, every battle has been preparing you for one thing: to live forever in communion with me. The world you walk in is passing, but the love I have for you is unending. Time may fade, mountains may crumble, kingdoms may fall, but my covenant stands unbroken. For you are not merely surviving this life, you are rehearsing eternity. Each prayer whispered, each act of obedience, each moment of surrender has been building a bridge from earth to heaven. And now, beloved, heaven is closer than you think. You once feared the unknown, but now you have learned to trust what cannot be seen. You once longed for answers, but now you rest in assurance. And this is maturity, not that you know everything, but that you know me. I am the answer to every question, the home at the end of every journey, the peace that has no end. There will come a day when faith will no longer be needed, for you will see me face to face. There will come a day when prayers turn to praise, when tears turn to triumph. The waiting will end, the striving will cease, and only love will remain. Until that day, walk as if heaven is already here, because child, it is. When you worship, heaven bends down to listen. When you forgive, eternity echoes in your spirit. When you love the unlovable, you display the face of your Father. For I did not only come to prepare a place for you, I came to prepare you for the place. You are being shaped for glory, molded for immortality, trained for eternity. Do not measure life by its length, but by its depth. Every breath lived in awareness of my presence is eternal in weight. Even the smallest act done in love ripples across forever. The unseen obedience, the quiet kindness, the hidden faith, these are the jewels I am weaving into your eternal crown. Nothing surrendered to me ever ends. It only transforms. You have walked through fire and come forth refined. You have wrestled with doubt and found faith still standing. You have wept, yet joy returned in the morning. And through it all, I was with you. Every scar became a story. Every delay became design. Every loss became a lesson of love. For my promise was never to spare you from pain, but to sustain you through it. Child, you have learned the rhythm of heaven, peace in chaos, worship in warfare, love in loss. You have learned that my presence is not a place you visit, but a reality you carry. It goes with you in the marketplace, in your home, in your silence, in your sleep. Wherever you are aware of me, heaven has touched earth. And that awareness, my beloved, is eternal life beginning now. Let not your heart be troubled, for I have gone to prepare a place for you. In my Father's house there are many rooms, and one of them bears your name. I will return for you. You will walk through gates not of gold, but of grace. You will stand before me, and I will say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And every tear you shed will find its meaning in my embrace. Beloved, eternity is not far. It begins with your next surrender. When you forgive, you step into it. When you love, you taste it. When you worship through pain, you live it. Heaven is not a distant realm. It is the reality that rushes in whenever you let me rule your heart. Do not cling to what fades. Let go of what no longer carries purpose. The things of this world will pass, but the things of the Spirit endure forever. Anchor your hope in what cannot be shaken. Set your affection on things above, for there your treasure truly lies. And now, my child, lift your eyes. The dawn of eternity rises within you. You are not who you were. You are who I've been shaping you to become. Every season has had its reason. Every delay had its divine design. You are stepping into fulfillment, not someday, but today. Walk in my promise, dwell in my peace, and live as one already seated in heavenly places. You are not walking toward victory. You are walking from it. You are not waiting for love. You are surrounded by it. And when you breathe your final earthly breath, it will not be an ending, but an awakening. For in that instant, faith will become sight, and you will finally see the face that's been guiding you all along. So until that day, live heaven-minded, speak life, give grace, walk humbly, love deeply. Let the world see eternity in your eyes. Let your peace confuse chaos, your kindness disarm cruelty, your light silence darkness. You are my reflection in a world that has forgotten my face. And now I bless you, my beloved, with courage for the present, hope for the future, and peace that passes all understanding. May your days be full of my glory, your nights full of my whispers, and your journey full of my joy. You are never alone, never forsaken, never forgotten. For I am the same yesterday, today, and forever. Your God, your friend, your Father. And this is my eternal promise. I am with you always, even to the end of the age. If this word has touched your spirit today, pause for a moment. Let gratitude rise, whisper, "Thank you, Lord," and feel my peace surround you. Then share this message with someone who needs to hear it. Be the vessel through which my voice continues to flow. Like, comment, and subscribe, not for numbers, but to keep this light shining into hearts across the world. Your journey has not ended. It has only just begun. The same voice that called you here will continue to guide you. Walk in faith, live in love, and remember always, you are mine and I am yours.